Sid, Siddhartha Rastogi, for joining our YouTube channel. One last question. Uh, the inspiration for starting this channel is a question which was asked to a Nobel laureate. He allowed the audience to ask many questions, and in the end, he said one last question. So, one from the audience said, she stood up and she told him, "What is your choice of the one last question? We would like to hear an answer to that." so, so that's how I thought I'll name this as one last question. But jokes apart, the whole idea of this channel is to interview and learn from reputed corporate leaders and people who have served in NGOs and in various capacities in the government, etc., and trying to find how we as Indians can find solutions to the problems that we face, particularly in the sectors of education and women's empowerment. But as we go along, if we need to add more such topics, we will. So that's the whole thing. And just as a short introduction about you, so that the audience who will hear this will get to know that Siddhartha Rastogi is a 20 plus years experienced investment banker. He is managing director of Ambit Assets Management, and he keeps diverse interests in economics, in finance, in social sector. He is also on the advisory board of various NGOs. One of them is RKSS NGO, but I have just noticed in the that you are also on the board of E-English learning. So I think it's called englisheteach.org.in. Now that's a very noble mission. In fact, I am an English teacher in the center where I work. So I know how valuable it is in terms of imparting life skill to people in the slums. So with this brief introduction, I would like you to answer my first question, which is, how is it that a busy corporate executive and a managing director, you find time to work with NGOs, guide them, and participate in their activity?
So thanks, Raghu, for having me here today in the conversation, the final question, the last question. And I think after a point in time, everyone has to introspect. Ultimately, what is their purpose of life, why they have come on this planet. So finding time is all about choices and priorities. For me, this is important, and that's where I am.
Before we get into the CSR and this social funding, I wanted to understand from you what inspired you to write the book that you have authored, the 8-minute decision making, right?
Right, absolutely. So many years ago, I was thinking that who is Siddhartha Rastogi, or who's, in fact, matter of fact, who was Raghu? Each one of us, what we see at the moment, is it that person? No, it's not that person. The person is a summation of all the choices, all the decisions, all the outcomes of those decisions which one made since one got some sense. Since childhood, we can't take decisions because a lot of decisions are influenced on the environment as well as from our senior people, senior in terms of age, senior in terms of wisdom, senior in terms of experience. But once we get our senses, once we get our decision making capability, we start taking independent decisions. Now, to dissect someone's decision is also a decision. To not agree somebody's point of view, somebody who's forcing or trying to persuade their point of view, is also a decision. And summation of all this is what you are today, what I am today? What what if this decision making is absolutely correct, but there is no concept of a correct decision making? So then there is another universal law that, like a mother nature or mother universe always thinks only about well-being of her children only. So whenever a child is born on this planet, there is a plan, there is an action, there is something which is suited best for him or her, as decided by universe, depending on one's decisions, depending on one's deeds. If you can match the plan of the universe and your decision making, your life will be very, very enjoyable, fun, without any ifs and buts. You'll enjoy every moment, whatever comes your way. But how do you do it? And that's this book all about.
So it is also believed that a person has premium if he gains experience, and a person gains experience if he loses a lot in the course of its experience. So that's also true that decision makings may go wrong, but you need to keep taking and be at it. Wonderful. So coming back to the you know a few national problems in the education and women's empowerment sector, and a lament that you frequently hear that if government with its thousands of crores cannot do much, what is it that an NGO or a corporate can do? So just as a small background information, I wanted to put in an incident here of a doctor who was serving in WHO during the war period, who is an Indian. And since the saline bottles were not available, he quickly collected water, a liter of water, added sugar and salt, so that absorption capacity for those who are suffering from diarrhea, absorption capacity increases. Now that became ORS, which was WHO approved, and it's an Indian doctor. It is believed that this small invention is among the top 5 or 10 inventions in the world in the 21st century. So, in the 20th century, sorry. So, so if this is the scene where it is not funds which is very important, but it is the intent and the drive that the person has, which makes and shapes the destiny of the people they want to help. So, in this context, how do you see your own association with an educational NGO? And how do you think also an NGO like ours, RKS's NGO, with whom you are associated, though on the women's empowerment side, but on the education side, I'd like to ask you the first question. With 200 million children in the pipeline who are disadvantaged groups from KG to 12 in India, how do you ensure quality education for these children at low cost? Any
So,
quick help or suggestions?
so very, very good perspective which Raghu you gave. So I would want to quote Kabir Das ji's very, very beautiful two-liner Doha. You can't call it anything else, because Dohas are Dohas. There is nothing else equivalent to Doha. So he said, तिनका कबहू न निंदिए, तिनका कबहू न निंदिए, जो पांव तर हो, कबहू उड़ी आखन पड़ी, तीर घनेरी होए. So there are small particles which are below your feet, below your slippers, and they're very, very small. You keep crushing them with your big feet, and sometimes when they fly in the air and a small particle goes in your eyes, it causes serious damage and serious pain. So there is no concept of small and big. There is no concept of huge, large, mammoth and inconsequential. Small steps, big impact. So very, very truly, the example which you quoted about that doctor and the ORS is absolutely correct. And it's not about in India since time immemorial. Anything which has been significant has been done at a very, very small stage. At a very, very small stage initially. Coming back to the question, how do you solve the education problem? So the first thing is the point is, I'm hoping that national education policy which has been implemented now, they are saying that start learning in your local language, in your mother tongue. Now, if you are a Malayali and if your child speaks Malayalam from childhood, he or she will learn dentistry, pharmacy, engineering in Malayalam much better than English.
Correct.
Because the concepts will be from beginning, from childhood. And similarly, for me, who's a Haryanvi and a UPI, a Hindi or a Haryanvi is a better language where my kids can understand.
Correct.
So, rest assured, transformation is happening, but this transformation is slow and steady. It's only been last 10-12 years. See, another challenge I'll tell you. So one is this education, which is the past. The second was, when we got independent, we were quite hand to mouth. We were literally hand to mouth. We were still the sixth largest economy, by the way, on 15th of August 1947 in the world. But the problem was that wealth was defined in terms of the real estate, and that real estate largely was owned. Industry and real estate was largely owned by the coterie, which was around Britishers at that point in time. So, handful of people. We were 22 crore people, maybe 22 lakh people had these facilities.
Absolutely.
But the point is, for first 65 years, we wanted to be not having a begging bowl. So we worked on that. We worked on that to ensure that our stomachs are filled. Last 15-20 years, we have started working on the education. Trust me, next decade, the question will not arise. And thanks to the technology, thanks to the smart social organizations like yourself. Why am I saying smart? Because you are using technology as well.
Yeah.
Your reach will increase. You NGOs, social organizations are generally dedicated. So are you. But you were constricted by your reach. No more.
Correct.
So technology will enable wisdom of smart social NGOs like yourself, like Ramakrishna Sarda Samiti, to reach not only in Sai and Koliwada slums, in entire Mumbai, in entire Maharashtra, in entire India someday. And that's what is going to happen in a decade. Trust me, mark my words. India will be having a literacy rate of 97% again in a decade.
Wonderful. So, coming back to a little bit on this literacy rate itself,
right,
and the role of technology in assisting us to tide over this crisis.
Right.
See, I think we have done a mistake in terms of defining who is a literate post-independence.
True.
We have agreed nationally that anyone who reads, writes, and understands in any Indian language is literate. So basically, numeracy, which is apart from literacy, the mathematical skills and comprehension, have never been defined as part of literacy. So therefore, the reason why we rank so low in international scores in terms of our literacy rates. So literacy quality. So as you rightly said, with technology under our belt and India being a leader in technology, world leader, we still have not scratched the surface. I'm talking of the NGOs. The NGOs have still not scratched the surface in terms of enabling the resources they create and the tools they create to reach it all over India. I'll give you an example. Khan Academy, which we all know.
Correct.
It hardly took $1 million for Khan Academy to reach the US audience.
Sure.
And it took $17 million maybe for it to scale to an international audience.
Sure.
So today, if you, on a global map, if you look at countries which speak English, they have taken Khan Academy because it's free. So to create a juggernaut like Khan Academy, it just takes about $1 million or $2 million, or considering that, inflation, and when it was started 17 years ago and all that, maybe 100, a couple of crores. Now, with this kind of a low budget and CSR spend alone in education, I would guess, would be in thousands of crores this
100%.
country, in this country. So even if 100 crores, if there is a collective which is formed, and we have Nandan Nilekanis of the world in this sector who are working, uh, even if 100 crores is assigned to, let's say, a group of NGOs who have already developed content and quality videos. I was just seeing the English e-english.org.in, where I am surprised they have created the English content for Maharashtra board up to standard 5.
Absolutely. From
And
25,
when
yes.
I went to my people who come from, when I teach my children English, who come from BMC schools and small private schools, they're not aware of this. Now, so the point is, see, there is something called a supply side problem. If there is a lack of good quality video, we'll produce one. But if there is a demand side problem, that is where we need to work with governments to ensure that what is produced is assimilated and absorbed, whether it is through teacher training, or providing infrastructure, or ensuring that parents send children to school, whether it is midday meal scheme or nutritional meals. So in all, I personally feel that unless this axis between government, NGOs, corporates and organizations is formed, the quick emancipation of the student from poor learning resources will not happen. What is your?
So the situation which you are saying is idealistic. Unfortunately, all the stakeholders which you mentioned, government, corporate, uh, NGOs, and the beneficiaries. So these are the four stakeholders here. Beneficiaries, let's just leave them apart. All the three after a point in time have a very, very large ego. Now, the problem is this unification of the resources and cohesion of the resources from all three perspective, and unification of their end goal also is not something which is plausible. And the reason I'm telling you is government has 15, 20, 30 things to be done. Their priority areas are different. Education is a state government driven thing. So you are talking about 30 prime ministers. You're not talking about a prime minister. You're talking about 30 prime ministers, right? And then under 30 prime ministers, you have education ministers, education secretary, and the whole paraphernalia. Everybody has to be managed. At the same time, when you're talking about the corporates, the corporate will have three agendas. One agenda will be education, but there will be two more agenda, and that will also be driven by the top management.
Absolutely.
The promoter, not even the CEO, not the professional, but the top man. So there is no consistency there. If the promoter changes, then there's a change.
Okay.
So and plus everybody wants to own and brand their own infrastructure. So if I want to start, I don't want that there should be 5,000 schools which should have English e-teach. I want to have only one school where the building, people, everything will be, and this will be known as Siddhartha Rastogi's secondary school. And I'm happy with 50 school. I'm running that and I'm very happy with it. I made a change.
Yeah.
So that's the second. Then comes the NGOs. The NGOs are also diversified, which means this is your work, this is my work. In the same NGO, then there are three works. And you take this area. Why should I help you with this? I'm already doing. So the problem is humans. The problem is not the problem is human ego.
Absolutely.
And unless that cohesion comes in, what is different between corporate and NGO is very simple. Everybody is unified to a single goal, which is dollar. They only see so greenbacks in their eyes. Everybody is unified there. Whilst as soon as dollar is not the driving force, there is nothing else. Then my ego, meri prashansa, meri wahwahi, All those come into the picture, and then things start diverging. But not to lose hope, not to lose hope here. What can be done and what should be done is very, very simple. If a Khan Academy can do it, I'm sure everyone else can do it. And the reason why Khan Academy can has done it, it's very, very simple, because they did only one thing.
Yeah,
They didn't do five things.
absolutely.
They only did one thing, and they kept on only focusing on the same thing again, and improving the content again and again and again and again. They didn't market it too well initially, till the time they didn't have funds, but then they started marketing it as well.
Correct.
So what you said is rightfully, in the putting in the perspective, consistency with detailed and great focus will bring success.
Perfect. So in that context, I just want to make a brief mention of an alliance that RKS's NGO is trying to build. A couple of NGOs have already joined. There's an NGO in Tamil Nadu, which is called VKR CET Foundation. They are producing Tamil videos for Tamil Nadu board. And similarly, we have Gyan Prabodhini, which has produced Marathi videos for Maharashtra board. And like this, we have your own NGO, which is developing videos for English language for the Maharashtra board. So, minus your NGO, the other NGOs which I have mentioned have already joined the alliance. The whole idea here is there is already an alliance in place in terms of providing technology, IT. So, Ek Step Foundation and Nandan Nilakani and others have joined together and have given free software for development of any educational content for free access. So, when the COVID struck, Diksha came, which is a app central government NCERT has developed. So the Diksha app, the software for that is from one of the NGOs in South, and the content has also been from a lot of NGOs all over the country. So if you see, there is a foundation which is, I forget the name, it's called some fellows, Avanti Fellows. They have, in association with Haryana government, developed an Haryana State Board educational videos for most of their subjects, particularly the science and math subjects. So they have first ported their content on to the Diksha app, and a lot of other NGOs have ported their content. So you'll be happy to know that the Tamil Nadu organization with whom we are working has already got its foot into the door of the Tamil Nadu State Council for Education, Research and Training in giving their content in math to students for the Zilla Parishad schools and others. So while we don't produce RKS's any content, I only teach because I want to teach in order to understand their problems. But RKSS is at the centerpiece of all this alliance, which is trying to forge it so that we, in a very short period, develop an, if not Baiju, at least a Khan Academy kind of content available free across the country in multiple languages.
Wonderful.
So that's the work currently we are on. And in that context, I wanted to also take your help with the NGO that you are associated, and maybe ask them
English
to also
e-teach.
join the.
So English e-teach is going to be happy to join the platform.
Yeah.
We are already there on the Diksha app.
Yeah.
We are also there on YouTube free.
Yeah.
And we are also happy to assist in any manner. All the Zilla Parishad school, large number of Zilla Parishad school of Maharashtra uses this technology, this framework. So
perfect. Yeah. So actually, I'd like to do a short survey and present it to the alliance. For want of a name, we are calling the alliance as Mangoes, Master Alliance of NGOs, governments, and organizations in education sector.
Perfect.
The whole idea is to build a Nukkad Baiju so that people can access it free.
Correct.
That's the whole point. So brilliant. You have shared your views on education. Now coming to women's empowerment, which is so close to your heart, and I've been working with you for a decade, if not more, on women's empowerment through RKSS. Now, one thing I notice, we send invite to all your corporate leaders to come for the annual function, but very occasionally more than one attend, and almost always you are the one who will attend. This is the reason why I asked you the first question, how come you find time? Now I'm asking you a second question. What is it that is so close to your heart in women's empowerment, which really pulls you out of the corporate clutter and brings you into a slum centered NGO like RKSS?
So it's very, very simple. I believe that I believe that India is in next 10 years, in next 25 years, is gonna be Vishwaguru, it will be superpower.
Correct.
The
I agree with you.
only way I can contribute, I can contribute to this journey is by ensuring that the lesser half of India, the worse half of India, the poorer half of India also participates in this journey. Because otherwise, it will be a segmental growth, it will be growth driven by few.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hence, what better than women? Because if I impact or change or make a small difference in the life of a woman, of a girl child, of a lady, I'm at least changing 4 lives.
Absolutely. I think
Because
10.
I'm changing a household.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the other side, if I change a man's life, it's one person at a time.
Absolutely.
It's too cumbersome.
Yeah,
Hence, 4 is better than 1, and I am a finance person. Hence,
absolutely.
focus on women. 4 women means 16 people, 4 households, which can multiply from 32 to 64, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
Hence, that's the focus. Another interesting thing is women share the success secret. They share with each other. So I have vested interest that if one lady is successful from Raj Krishna Sarda Samiti's program, she will talk about it to at least 3 more women, and then there are potentially 9 more women can get engaged from 3 to 3, and that's how at least from 3 to 6 households can potentially change.
Yeah, absolutely. I think your numbers are on the dot for the reason that we started with 3 women when Ambit ODT Foundation started supporting us. Today, they have expanded. We have done nothing. They have expanded on their own into 30 women. 10 formed the core group. They have formed 10 as the sub core, which will take job works. And then the rest 10 outside circle, they'll basically come for odd jobs, pick it up, and they spread the word that there is tailor training in the slum. They have built these 3 concentric circles of business development. We have not told them to do anything. We said 3-year time period, grow this into a cooperative which is self-sustaining. That's it. Year 2, they made it 30. Now, this is what women can do. Like you rightly said, they share their secrets. They call people and say, come, there is an opportunity here. Brilliantly, they operate, very subtly, under the skin. Beautiful operation. So I really appreciate the support that AOF is giving. And we are very confident that this cooperative will slowly emerge into a great tailor artisan cooperative of the country. So that's the whole idea. Currently, while we are talking, there is a group of people there who are celebrating Diwali because they made a very good sale in the Durga Puja.
Very nice.
So,
Excellent. Excellent.
so coming back to women's empowerment, the one thing that is very close to the heart of the politician and the change maker is employment. So I wanted your comments, particularly because in India, a large part of employment, sectors that contribute to employment are the micro, small and medium enterprise and not
Right.
the enterprise which is deep pockets. So, and the beauty is if these are the segments which are contributing to employment, the beauty is the NGO sector and the corporate CSR. They both work addressing these sectors: slums, education, empowerment, women's skilling, etc., which ultimately ends up in giving them a shop run by a lady or two ladies, those kind of micro and small enterprises. So, given this context, one, just like how in education you have uh, very rightly indicated what problems we are facing in terms of forming an alliance between the government organizations, NGOs, and the beneficiaries, even in employment for women, do you agree that the same kind of an alliance at some kind of a national level, triggered by government schemes, will definitely bring us a much faster change than what we are seeing today?
So, Raghu, government has already got several schemes which are running for women, where easy loans, overdrafts, support systems already exist. At the same time, there are since you were talking about women, you'd be surprised to know that there is no social organization, mostly I have not come across, where there's not a woman, where there is not a woman leader. There's not a single one. And most of the social organizations are either headed or number two, number three, number four supported by a woman. All. And it's natural. It's something which I have not created or you have not created. It is because every woman is a mother. Every woman is a mother. Mother means nurturing. Mother means sowing, nurturing, and then protecting.
Yeah,
And that's what all women are trying to do in the society.
absolutely.
So whether your own children or somebody else's children or the society, that's what they are trying to do. So hence it's a given. Now coming back to the question, whether on the
But
employment
more
side.
than a mother, I would say I think they are more loving and kind. Whether
Absolutely
it's a sister, mother,
correct.
and grandmother, it's all about loving and kind giving to society. Yeah,
Absolutely. Compassion.
absolutely.
Compassion is the key. Compassion and empathy. They are the best friends. They so see in the Sanatan Dharma, we never spoke about men or women being different. We said it's Ardhanareshwar. Without a woman, the man is incomplete.
Mhm.
And they are the same. They are same. So without Shakti, woman is the Shakti. The
Absolutely.
man is just Shav. So clearly, woman plays a very vital and key role in our houses, in our livelihoods, as well as in the society. Now, coming back to the question which you stated,
Employment opportunities.
yeah, about the opportunity. Now, here, what's happening is, till now we led a growth. So till about 65 years, we led a growth which was driven by agriculture, predominantly agriculture. From 91 onwards, when we opened up the economy, we saw a massive inflow of the foreign flows and the globalization, integration with the world economy, etc. And because of that, the services rose.
Yeah, even today it is the largest employer.
Absolutely. It's the largest contributor to the GDP, services. Now that's where government is trying to fix, and that's where you are seeing make in India, make for India, and make for the world. Make in India, make for India, and make for the world.
Yeah,
So what's gonna happen is, earlier we were importing whole bunch of things, from
absolutely.
clothing to the slippers to the toothbrushes, to everything which was being imported now is being manufactured in India.
In
And
fact, mobiles is an important case study.
100%. So today also, think about it, we have become the second largest manufacturer of the mobile phones, with the fact that we are only assembling today. So we don't manufacture most of the parts are not manufactured in India.
Correct.
There will be a point in time in next 5 years when the most of the parts in India will be manufactured in India, and then things will be assembled in India. Today things are assembled in India largely.
Correct.
That's where the integration of the SMEs and MSMEs will happen. The case in point, brilliant being Maruti. The case in point being Amul, right? These are the places. One is a industrial product.
Mhm.
One is a agri product,
Correct.
and both the places is the SMEs, the small and the marginalized
Farmers.
contributors who
Absolutely.
have become extremely big.
Brilliant. Well said. Well
So,
said.
so, so rest assured, integrating it in the system. Now, think about it. You just now told me a very interesting thing that there are bunch of women from Ramakrishna Sarda Samiti who are celebrating Dhanteras, Dhanvantri Trayodasi, seeking health and seeking wealth for every life, every household. There is chaos outside India. There is so much of so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
of grim
Turmoil.
attitude there, right? And at the same time, you said they had good amount of collection sales. People were enlightened. The people were jubilant to see their products, and they bought in huge quantity. Why is it happening? That's the decoupling which is happening in India from the rest of the world, and the benefit will trickle down to the marginalized as well. So you don't have to do anything. What you
Absolutely.
need to do, just keep working. What you are doing, just keep doing it with consistency and with Shraddha. Shraddha or Shiddat say. That's about it. So what you
Absolutely.
are doing, just continue. Nothing else you have to do.
Yeah. Actually, I agree with you. In fact, talking to you quite often also gives us a perspective in terms of how do we scale. So initially, we thought actually the previous quarter report when we submitted, we thought that we'll do a simple e-commerce site. But when we talked to three or four self-help groups in Mumbai slums, they said, "Sir, why don't you buy our products?" We said, "Look, we don't build inventory, we don't buy." So then they said, "But how do you take us then for exports? I mean, how you people are doing so much to London and Singapore? Why we are not able to do it? We do equally good bags if you ask us to." So Vidya and I were thinking that maybe we should develop what is called a sellers portal, where Ramakrishna Sadhya Samiti will of course show its wares in the e-commerce site, but we also give the self-help groups the right to upload their products if prior approved by RKSS.
So you don't even have to go there. Now ONDC,
Yeah,
Open Network Destinations,
yeah.
the
Open network digital commerce.
digital commerce, right?
Yeah.
So where everybody can put their own stuff.
Correct, correct. But ONDC is concentrating more onto the product areas rather than attracting the disadvantaged sections. Now, government, I think the textile ministry I read somewhere is announcing that they will provide a website which will enable the self-help groups and the disadvantaged sections to sell directly. So that's also in the making. So we thought that till the time that all these come up, we anyway have set up an infrastructure where if somebody clicks and buys, we'll ship it automatically and see that the customer receives our product
Sure.
in its right form and shape. So why not we lend this service to the self-help groups? So like you said, we thought let's share our expertise in this area, digital commerce, to these poor disadvantaged SHGs, self-help groups in Maharashtra, and see that they also sell. So I mean, when we talk to you, Sid, let me tell you, we really get inspired, and you throw these kind of nuggets where you tell us, can we do a little more, can we do a little more, can we do a little better, can we do branding? So these are the things which I feel trigger us forward. Thank you very much for that inspirational help. Are we in,
Pleasure
Sid?
is all mine.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry, I think my video is little jammed. One second.
yeah, that's okay, we're able to hear you, I think.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, pleasure is always mine, because if we are able to create two role models like Ramakrishna Sarda Samiti, will be able to inspire the entire generation. How Lijjat Papad and
Brilliant.
Amul, they
Yeah,
are still inspiring all the self-help groups who come
Absolutely.
in
Absolutely.
in in very large number, and these are the two
Yep.
role models. Same way we
Yep.
have to create one role model of Ramakrishna Sarada Samiti, which is driven by women, for women, to women,
That's
everything to
it.
do with women.
That's it.
And game is done. Game is done.
But I must say, your optimism knows no bounds. I think that's what keeps you uh, moving. So
So I get phenomenal people like you. I get phenomenal people like you and Vidya uh, to keep doing the great work with. I can only think, but you guys are doing the great work at the ground.
yeah,
Amazing, amazing.
that's the opportunity Lord has given us. So in terms of concluding remarks, both on women's empowerment and education, um, I would like to ask, since you are from the corporate sector, do you think the corporate sector could have done better than what it has delivered so far in the CSR side for these two areas?
I'm sure they would have. I'm sure they could have. Most of the corporates, unfortunately, have found a way of managing their CSR responsibilities as well. So what do? They go into the area. So a developer will go and clean up the road in front of it so that its real estate sells better, and that's CSR for him.
Absolutely.
So there are enough number of examples. People are very creative in India.
Yeah,
They find ways, but ultimately they don't realize that the karma chakra, and the karma chakra is inescapable. You can't escape the karma chakra. Whatever you will sow, so shall you reap. So you may make money a little bit here and there for a few years, but if you don't do rightfully deeds with the right intent, it will gonna come back and bite you.
absolutely.
So I think it's only time corporates will realize and they will start doing the right thing. Someday it will happen, and very soon.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sid, for joining the meeting. Um, I am really grateful to you and for your inspirational advice. We are also very happy, our case is that you are on the advisory board. I'll come back to you soon in terms of reaching out to English uh, teaching. Sorry, I
Sure.
forget the name of it. And
English you teach. Yes.
English e-teaching. English e-teaching. And let's see if we all can work together and bring that change in
100%.
Maharashtra. Thank you.
100%. 100%. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Raghu.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.